iHeartRadio app.
Beat the heat without breaking the bank at Wild Rivers Water Park in Irvine. Summer's hottest days mean the coolest savings at wildrivers.com. With 25 attractions to thrill and chill, Wild Rivers delivers sun and fun for everyone. Visit wildrivers.com for more information.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers are about to change ownership again. NBA sources are reporting that Lakers owner Mark Walter, who bought the franchise last year for $10 billion, is selling it to a couple of very rich businessmen, Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. Key players in the NBA's potential expansion into Las Vegas have agreed to pay Walter $12 billion for the Lakers. Walter is the majority owner of the Dodgers, but it appears he's ending his relationship with the Lakers after just 1 year. More details to come on this surprising development. The NFL is considering a suspension for Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua at the start of the regular season. The league is reviewing whether Nacua has violated the league's code of conduct policy. Nacua, who led the NFL in receptions last season, is facing a civil lawsuit from a woman accusing him of assault and anti-Semitic comments. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. August 5, 2026. Dear LA City Council President Marquise Harris Dawson, on behalf of a coalition of businesses and residents that constitute the Crenshaw Corridor community, we write to request that a concrete timeline and resources for fully completing Destination Crenshaw within a year be developed and announced. A year is the outside time it should take, and we hope and expect that it can be finished considerably sooner. We also request the immediate establishment of a business interruption relief fund for the merchants, entrepreneurs, churches, and property owners who have borne the disproportionate economic burden of the prolonged delays associated with the Destination Crenshaw project, and a resident relief fund for the residents of the corridor who have been most adversely affected by the prolonged construction and delays associated with this unfinished development. Destination Crenshaw was presented to this community as a transformational investment in Black culture, Black commerce, and the future of South Los Angeles. It has now been 6 years since the project broke ground and over 2 years since the promised completion date. Construction has stalled with no apparent end date in sight. The Crenshaw Corridor community embraced the vision of Destination Crenshaw, but the obstruction from the delayed construction has caused prolonged health and safety hazards, uncertainty, reduced customer access, declining revenues, disruptions, and mounting financial hardship. A broad spectrum of the community expressed their frustration over these delays and the impact they have had on the community at a standing room only July 30th town hall at Bethesda Temple Church, widely covered by the media including ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC. The burden of these unexplained delays should not rest on the shoulders of the Crenshaw Corridor community, which acted in good faith and supported this historic project. If the city fails to provide a complete and substantive response to this correspondence within 30 days of the date of this letter, the Crenshaw Corridor community reserves its right to pursue all of its rights and remedies. Sincerely, the Crenshaw Corridor community. To read the complete letter detailing all of our demands, go to our website at kbla1580.com. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money P. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tavis Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in, the first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. This show is called First Things First. And my first thing today and every day is prayer, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God. Asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. Got a lot to do, a lot to talk about. So much going on around here. It's a Think Tank Thursday. I really think we should have our brains engaged every day if we can. Except for, if you can get out on vacation and zone out, okay. But for the most part, let's engage. We try to do that extra much on Thursdays where we crowdsource our wisdom to try to solve problems and come up with solutions. And you know how we do it. If you don't, if you're new here, welcome. Glad you made it in. This is what we do. Hour 1, we look local as it connects to the world. Hour 2, we go national, international, and intergalactic. Hour 3, we do a deep dive on a person or persons of interest, a hot topic. Now, we've kind of scrambled things up a bit today on this Think Tank Thursday, but we're still here, and the phone lines are still open for you at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. But as Miles said this morning, it's a meteor shower, so don't be surprised if things are a little scrambled up. Just, try to dodge the big rocks. So today in hour 1, we got time. Call me, 800-920-1580. We're going to talk about things, me, you, Miles, and your telephone, microphone, or keyboard fingers if you happen to be tapping in with the KBLA delegation on YouTube. The comments section. Ooh, fire. And then, of course, we also stream on Facebook. Sometimes I go live on my Instagram, so all of that is available to you. Hour 2, we are going to be talking hip-hop again. It's allegedly the birthday week. The trial around the Tupac murder is on, and my friend the poetess, rap artist, producer, and hip-hop historian. I don't think she calls herself that, but I do. She keeps better records than anyone I know. She'll be joining in hour 2. Hour 3, we're going to talk about, is it enigma, the quandary, the mystery of black Republicans in MAGA America. Maybe he can explain it to me. He's got a new book out, so I'm sure he'll be telling you about that, his Venn diagram of one. Lenny McAllister will join us in hour 3 for a deep dive on the black MAGA phenomena. And you are invited into all of those. In fact, I rely on you for your insights, your rabble-rousing, and all of your inspiration. So thank you for being here with me whenever you're able. If you're not able and you missed something that you wanted to be part of, no point in having FOMO. No FOMO, not for First Things First, because our shows are available wherever you get your pods. They live there on, Spotify and Apple Music and all the places where pods are found. Okay, so if you missed a show, if you missed a hilarious conversation with Kim Whitley and Buddy Lewis, if you missed my conversation with my sister, art historian and curator Kelly Jones, around Betty Saar, which was quite insightful and really, a combination of history and fun and information about the great artist Betty Saar. If you missed the conversation on yesterday with one of the most respected negotiators in the world, Maury Tahirapur, well, all of that is available wherever you get your pods, wherever you find them, and they also live on YouTube. So you can see me. I'm streaming there right now. So that's what's up. That is what is going on. 800-920-1580 if you want to say a thing about a thing. You can also hop on my socials, by the way. I'm at DiPrima Radio everywhere. DiPrima Radio on all the platforms. My favorite right now is Instagram, but that's subject to change without notice. Do not DM me on Facebook. I've got like 3 million DMs there, and I just never look at them. But I do look at the Evil Empire, also known as X. I do go over there, and I'm on Instagram, and I do spend time on TikTok. So find me in those places. And of course, the radio station KBLA 1580 is everywhere on all of the social platforms, just that way. KBLA 1580. So we talked about a little bit yesterday, the election season being upon us, and I stand corrected. Apparently, the official community campaign kickoff for Mayor Karen Bass's re-election is Saturday at Obama and La Brea. She'll be there. She'll be there greeting supporters. If you are one of those, you're welcome to go. Everyone is welcome to go. People will be signing up to knock on doors and help get out the vote. And but you know, she officially, obviously, was in the running as of the end of the primary, whenever the tally showed that she was into the runoff, which I think was on election day itself. Like, I don't think that was ever in doubt for our incumbent mayor. Whereas the official kickoff, the hoopla and such for her opponent, Councilmember Nithya Raman, that happened June 11. One could argue that perhaps she's been campaigning so hard that she hasn't been able to make those council meetings. Some analysts claim that is why she lost her spot leading the housing committee in the LA City Council. And so, say what you will, we are definitely 10 toes down in election season. I believe it's 80 days or 79 days to go before we have the final day to vote. We talked about a little bit yesterday about Javier Becerra and how I said it's probably an easy race for him. I doubt he'll take it for granted because he's a seasoned politician. He is a lawmaker who has held many different offices, and he knows that there's no done deal until it's a done deal. However, the latest Berkeley IGS LA Times poll is showing him ahead 55 to 37%. So that is definitely a kick your butt type of lead. Now, of course, the Elon Musk money hasn't kicked in yet, right? The Peter Thiel money may not have kicked in. The ads, they are going to redistribute some of their wealth by tearing Becerra apart in whatever way they can. I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think he's got wild scandals in his woodpile. But, they don't care. They make stuff up. So I expect that lead to narrow once the hit pieces and terrible commercials get going. However, as of right now, he's in stomp 'em out territory. And of course, it is almost entirely along party lines. So if you have Republican friends who claim they're voting for Becerra, the chances are they're not telling you the truth. And of course, it is the coastal strongholds, the coastal progressive areas, which happen to be the population centers of California, right? So you wonder why this big red area in the middle of the state is so outnumbered every election season and so outnumbered in Washington. Is because they're big geographic areas, but there aren't that many people there, i.e. not that many voters. Whereas if you go to Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, all of those areas have tons of people. And that's where more of the Latino people live, that's where more of the black people live, and that's where more of the Democrats live. And so that's the story of our bipolar state. Those cities, according to the LA Times, it's San Diego, the Bay Area, and even the coastal smaller cities, the Santa Barbaras and such. That's where, in LA, of course, that's where Becerra is strong. 88% of Dems are voting for Becerra. 91% of Republicans back Hilton. And the reason I say it like that, like 91%, is because we always hear, I don't know, people who call in this show whose name rhymes with head, or other people who claim that they're not Republicans, they're independent, or Republicans who claim they're not MAGA ones, but yet they are still going to vote, 91% of them, for Steve Hilton, who is a Fox News host with MAGA talking points. I mean, he might have a nice, smooth-sounding voice and a cool English accent. He might have a much better vocabulary than the resident, but he is, in fact, a MAGA Republican following the MAGA talking points and their platform, point for point. So this idea of the kinder, gentler Republican is mostly just a PR kind of thing, really. 91% of them are backing Hilton. And interestingly, though, and this kind of does contradict something I always say, but I hope that it's right, is that the no party preference voters are also leaning toward Becerra, with 58% of them. So the ones that don't have a party affiliation, 30% of them are with Hilton. That's what they're telling the pollsters. I hope that is what is true, and that they are not just Republicans in disguise, which is what I often say. 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and you, well, I'm pretty sure you know where you are.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
The KBLA 1580 app puts the realest conversations right in your pocket. Stream live wherever you are in the world. No static. No searching the dial. A crystal clear connection 24/7, exactly when you want it. We recommend that you keep automatic updates enabled. Set it and forget it. So the app stays up to date with store requirements, bug fixes, and new features as we roll them out. Download the KBLA 1580 app today and stay plugged into the conversation everyone's having.
Just in case you missed our Procrastination Crenshaw Town Hall.
My name is Greg Doolin, and I'm a second-generation restaurant owner. My family started with a little hamburger stand in 1975. I have been in the community as the owner of Doolin's on Crenshaw since 1992, and because I've been here so long, I know what the community wants, and I know what they wanted. And so I tried my best to build the most beautiful restaurant that I could, which is across the street, Doolin's on Crenshaw, a space where people can do all the things that we like to do. And it's very lonely, because we are the only business open at night, and I'm seeing my fellow restaurant owners go through all types of trouble. You know, you've probably all seen it in the news, and I'm having my challenges. And the way Destination Crenshaw impacts me, I'm on Crenshaw more than most people. I'm here at 5 in the morning, and I'm here at midnight. And I look down the street, and I see my neighbors parking their cars up on the sidewalk. When I'm at work, and I see my senior customers struggling to walk down to my restaurant from Victoria with canes and with walkers. That's what impacts me.
Making sure they stick to the truth. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-550-9651.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-550-9651. That's 800-550-9651. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's the show everybody's talking about. What's up, y'all? I'm Amanda Seals with a personal invitation for you to join me every Friday here on KBLA Talk 1580. Now, you get 2 chances to tap in, noon to 2 p.m., and again from 4 to 6 p.m. Real talk, no filter, just you and me on the highest of vibrations. Fridays only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, so on the question of Javier Becerra, who may very well be the next governor of the 4th largest economy in the whole wide world, Mr. Becerra, I should have noted, is particularly strong in his polling among women, younger voters, and guess who else? Black people. And so that's an interesting dynamic. I think it makes sense. You know, he was part of the Obama team. He was part of the Biden administration. But also, we'll see. You know, I don't see Steve Hilton appealing to black voters. So right now, it seems like Black Cali is Team Becerra. He will be, if elected, the first Latino governor of the state of California, which is interesting because, I mean, we have such a huge Latino population, voting population. Contrary to popular stereotype, we have a lot of born and raised Chicano, Latino, Californians. I'm not talking about people who can't vote. I'm not talking about immigrants. Some are, maybe many years back, but some, as they say, we didn't cross the border crossed us. This used to be Mexico. And I get that it's not anymore, trust and believe, but, we have a lot of Latinos and Latino Californians, Latino U.S. Americans. And the thing about that is that they have been called the sleeping giant because they don't vote their numbers. That may be changing. We shall see. The other shift in this way that we're going to see in this election is Council District 9, CD9, which is currently led by Council Member Curran Price, who's done an amazing job, by the way, in that district. He's everywhere. He always shows up. He's always doing events and providing resources for the community. However, the 2 gentlemen who are in the runoff are both Latino. So that will be a change on the LA City Council. We've always had a black council member in that district, and I would not be at all surprised if that doesn't happen again. Maybe. But I don't see it. Now, I'm not saying that to say that black candidates cannot win in non-black districts. It happens all the time, including the mayor of this city. That's what coalition and allyship is about. I mean, ask Tom Bradley, right? So that's not what I'm saying at all, but I'm saying that I think we are seeing the emergence of the Latino voter as more of a factor here in the state of California and beyond. And hopefully this experience with the ICE debacle and the way this particular resident is governing will move those that found themselves leaving the Democratic Party. Will move them back into the common sense aisle. That is not guaranteed, but we are seeing some evidence, some empirical evidence that that's starting to happen. We have Jose Ugarte and Estuardo Mazariegos, who are the two folks who are in that CD9 runoff. And one of them, yes, one of them comes out of the CD9 current camp. One of them worked with Councilmember Price for many years, but they're both Latino, and one or the other of them is going to be representing CD9 after November. And they are both, by the way, after the whole spiel I just gave about U.S. American born and raised multiple generation type of Latinos, they are both not that. They're both they were both born elsewhere and raised here. Not saying that's bad or good, but that's what it is. And so things are shifting. That's normal. I think that people who believe that we can live as an island and not have coalitions or not have at least alliances are actually in denial. It's never really worked that way in Cali to begin with. And, I think that I know that we're in this era of division even more than ever before, at least online, right? Between black and brown and Asian and black and all of these, and I am actually a supporter of the current de facto boycott, but alliances and coalitions are necessary. You're not, and it's rare when you're going to have that spot in your community, in your town, when the whole world is not Jackson, Mississippi, and even Jackson, Mississippi, which has, or Baltimore, Maryland, which have majority black residents, they're still dealing with, not Baltimore, but in Jackson, they're still dealing with the state apparatus, right? And you're right, Paul. I see Paul in the YouTube talking about how Latinos are moving toward the Republican Party. There's a couple of caveats to that, though, Paul. One is that the Latino vote is not a monolith, as they like to say about black people. So if you're talking about Cubans or Venezuelans, they start out more conservative because they are leaving, running away from, fleeing, or rebelling against socialist or communist governments. So the folks that came here tended to be the richer and whiter among them, right? Among the people in that country. Whereas with, Central America and Mexico, that is less likely, depending on the Central American state, right? Some of them were ruled by right-wing groups like El Salvador, like Guatemala, like Nicaragua, and then when different governments take over or we do something crazy with the drug trade, those folks come here. Ram Blue 7 says a bunch of Zimmermans. But again, it's not a monolith. A Mexican or, or Central American Latino is more likely, and certainly a Chicano, U.S. American born and raised here, is much more likely to be progressive. So you can't just say, oh, they're all moving Republican. And then the other thing is the resident is pushing them back into the Democratic Party. And then the final thing I'll say on that is there's a gender split. Latinas, in other words, Latino women, are much less likely to vote Republican, can't even say it anymore, than Latino men. We've got news, traffic, and sports. Then you're invited in. As always, I'm Dominique DiPrima, and this is KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. New York Governor Kathy Hochul is announcing more than $200 million in summer food assistance for low-income families.
We just finished our second year of completely free meals, breakfast, and lunch.
Eligible households can receive $120 per child through the state's summer EBT program, with some families needing to apply by September 8th. A former Louisiana jailer is facing charges after authorities say she exchanged inappropriate messages with an inmate. Black 20-year-old Amaya Fobb was arrested on charges including malfeasance in office and was fired from her position with the St. James Parish Sheriff's Office. And actress and comedian Tiffany Haddish has pleaded guilty to a DUI charge stemming from a 2022 arrest in Georgia. Under a plea agreement, Haddish received probation, must complete a DUI program, and will avoid additional jail time. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A couple of side notes regarding the $12.5 billion purchase of the Lakers by Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. Kushner is the brother of Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Lakers owner Mark Walter is facing a federal investigation for alleged tax fraud involving two insurance companies that he owns. The investigation could be a factor in Walter's decision to sell the Lakers. The sale has to be approved by the NBA Board of Governors. The next owners' meeting is in September in New York City. Russell Westbrook, one of the most productive and dynamic guards in NBA history, announced his retirement. The LA native played 11 of his 18 seasons with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Westbrook was a 9-time All-Star and holds the record for most career triple-doubles with 209. He also has the single-season record for triple-doubles with 42 in 2016 and 17, the year he was voted MVP. Westbrook will be a first-ballot Hall of Famer in 2031. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Ready for a weekend reset? Walk it out with me, Gina A. Towns, the artist formerly known as Gina Darby, on Reflectivity Beyond Black and White, as we seek peace, understanding, and healing beyond surface-level perspectives, where reflectivity becomes our inner power and resilience to transform our lives and our communities no matter what. Meet me and my crazy cool guests. Join the Reflectivity family movement as we make sense of it all. Every bit, every morsel. We're going to nourish the mind, body, and soul unapologetically right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Every Saturday, 2 and 8 p.m. on the West Coast, 4 and 10 in the Midwest, and 5 and 11 on the East Coast. It's time for Reflectivity Beyond Black and White. It's not only hot, it's sizzling, and we're cooking.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through this city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580, your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Let's do this.
Every vote matters. Every voice counts. And between now and November, the decisions made in Washington, Sacramento, and here at home in Los Angeles will shape the future of your family and your community. Don't leave it to chance, and don't leave it to guesswork. KBLA Talk 1580 is your source for the political conversations that matter most. Real talk, real insight, right here. KBLA Talk 1580, the place for politics.
What's good, KBLA delegation? I am Miles Lowe, and I'm excited to be joining the weekend lineup right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Join me every Saturday at 12 noon for the Do Better Show, where we get into the world of tech, AI, the creator economy, navigating your mental health through it all, and have conversations with founders to find out how real people are making real money right now. It's not a course, not a subscription. Class is in session every weekend, live on the air. If you knew better, you do better, right? So let's make a better you. The Do Better Show, every Saturday, 12 noon, and replaying again at 7 p.m. right here on Unapologetically Progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, so I was asking Miles, why is Russell Westbrook stepping down? He's an LA icon, and you said...
It's about that time, 18 years in, and if ain't nobody giving you a job offer, might as well wrap it up, go out and with all your glory intact.
Yeah, I got you. Happy retirement, Mr. Westbrook. I think what people may not be clocking about him is that he really does a lot of stuff for the community behind the scenes. He's not always out here beating his chest talking about it, but he does a lot of stuff for his community.
That's not. I hear about that. The community speaks very highly of Russell Westbrook, especially around here. So shout out to Russell Westbrook. Great career, man. Hall of Famer. All-time triple-double beast. You know what I mean? Like one of the most athletic point guards of all time. One of the funnest people to watch of all time. Motor on 100% every game. I feel like he's one of the ones you could say gave his all to the game for as long as he was out there. So yeah. I love Russell Westbrook. Nothing wrong with that.
Back to do your best every day. But yeah, no, I mean, that's why, I always say the streets know. The streets always know. The streets know that man right there is a real one. So, LA legend for sure.
Mm-hmm. Got to play for both teams in LA. So yeah, that's what more could you ask for?
That's legendary. I feel like I could say that anyway. Miles Lowe, your show is ongoing. It's every Saturday. I just want to make sure, I see you got the spot running. I'm loving that, but I just want to make sure our KBLA delegation is tapped in.
It's the Do Better Show every Saturday, 12 noon, with a replay at 7 p.m. We talk everything tech, AI, creator economy, health, consciousness, all that stuff. And also how to make money right now using all the tools at your disposal. This week we're going to be talking about this AI music controversy. The artists are coming out saying they're using AI now to make their music instead of kind of like keeping it on the tuck. So, I want to see who really cares. Do we really care? Let's break down some numbers. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, we had a behind the mic conversation about that. Maybe a year or more ago, you were talking about how Drake was using AI for some of using it to reproduce himself.
Drake did it. Kanye West used it on his last Bully album. Him and Northwest have been using it. Timbaland's been a huge advocate for it. We're here now, ladies and gentlemen. So I just want to see.
And if Ye does it, that means people are going to be doing it.
I mean, everybody has been doing it. It's just saying that certain people, like I said, people have been sitting in the tuck with it. They don't want to expose it and say they're using it. But now we're at a point where it's the conversation piece. It's the centerpiece of the convo. So
AI is the new plastic surgery.
What?
AI is the new plastic surgery.
New BBL, the new BBL is AI music.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Too, Dominique, we've had people who come in here and, when they start the hour, ask them what song you want to start with. And they'll give me a song. Oh, I just heard this, and this. And I'll look it up. And it's AI music.
Right. And the person doesn't even know it. They just heard a song they like. Are they here? People, anyway, tune into the Do Better Show. Yeah. I'm assuming folks are getting this music online. That's where it's coming from. That's where they're coming in contact with it. And then they're like, oh, I love this song, not realizing that it's a bot.
It's getting caught up in the TikTok reels and stories. Not an actual artist.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, okay. Thanks for that clarity. I appreciate it. These things, they come across on the Black Information Network, which is a national network. So maybe, and of course, Ray Richardson does our news and our sports news, and he does a great job. But that's one of those that lands a little heavier in LA. Yeah, and yesterday we had a story that aired talking about BLM Sports. BLM Sports is BS, just FYI. More on that later. We'll talk about it Monday when Dr. Molina Abdullah will be in with me in hour 1. So we can break that down. In case you were confused, that is the folks that took the people's money, repurposing it to something that is not the intention of the people who donated to Black Lives Matter. They donated to stop state-sanctioned violence, and now these goofies have decided to make it into a little sports club, sports booster club. No, that ain't it. Anyway, just for the record. So we were talking about this, the Latino vote, the black vote, how it's all playing out and how it's going to come together or not this election season. I would say yes, at least when it comes to Becerra, you'll probably see a stronger Latino turnout, I would imagine, at the polls in California, because the opportunity to have the first Latino governor ever is got to be appealing to Latino voters. Like I said, they don't always vote their weight class. And Paul makes the point that black people as a whole do vote heavily Democratic, even though we are not a monolith either. And that is true. But all of these things are evolving. We did see some slippage over to the MAGA world. We'll be addressing some of that in hour 3 today, the mystery of the black Republicans under MAGA. I think a lot of that is mis and disinformation online. I think there is definitely a gender component to that as well. Well, there is, because if you can look at the numbers, there's 92% of black women voted for Kamala Harris and 85% of black men. It's not terrible, but there is a gap there, right? Ram Blue says, fun fact, 1 out of every 3 black people born in Cali is Latino. I have not seen those numbers, Ram Blue 7, but that would not shock and surprise me. Just as a lot of black people in this country now, and a lot of the growth in the black population are immigrants from Haiti, from Africa. It's a reality. I was going to say a new reality, but it's not really that new. It's just more prevalent. And as the conscious African immigrants say, it's because of the work of black civil rights leaders that opened the doors to any immigration, just as the 14th Amendment opened the doors to birthright citizenship. So all immigrants and refugees definitely owe a debt to black Americans. But that's not to say they have to be our enemies. In fact, it's just the opposite. And I already dealt with a lot of misunderstanding around this on the radio. My former husband is a black Latino. He's Cuban. And so people say, oh, well, she's married to a Mexican. Well, if I was, fine. Like, I don't have a problem with that. But that just wasn't the truth. The truth was my former husband looked more like Sidney Poitier than Ricky Ricardo. And people have trouble getting their minds around it. But what you need to know, as someone who is married to an Afro-Latino for almost 15 years, they identify as black first, most of them. I mean, I'm sure they have sellouts just like we do. But the fact of the matter is, if you're in Venezuela and you're black, you're still black. If you're in, Panama and you're black, you're still black. If you're in Costa Rica and you're black, you're still black. What do I mean by that? I'm not saying you have to pretend that they're the same as black Americans, but what I am saying is that they're still dealing with racism and white supremacy just as we have. And so there is an identification and an understanding. Now, that's a little different with Africans, because although they're dealing with colonization, and some of them have colonized minds, but many don't. Many are revolutionaries. Many are progressives. But the difference is that if you're black and everyone in your country is black, like let's say a Ghanaian as compared to a South African. If you're a black South African migrant, you come from a powerful and still functioning system of white supremacy and white privilege. If you're a Ghanaian American, you're still dealing with the vestiges of a colonial mindset. But your president is black, your army is black, your cops are black. It's blackety black, all black, black, black. So when they come here, they have less of an understanding of what it's like to function in the belly of the beast, of what it's like to deal with white supremacy, the original flavor. So, I mean, yes, there are nuances. But this idea that 1 out of every 3 black people born in California is Latino, that's somehow a threat to black California, I would put that in the not true category if I was Snopes. Because most of those folks understand that what's good for black people is good for them. What's good for black children is good for their children. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. It really doesn't. I do agree we should be voting in higher numbers, but we do, as black people, as black Angelenos specifically, I'll say, we vote above our weight class. We are, 8%, approximately 8% of the population. And in elections, we vary from 15 to 20% of voters. We vote above our weight class. A high percentage of us votes. Now, that may be disproportionately elders, but it's something we need to, be proud of. Yeah, you're right, Paul. It'd be great if it was AT, but we vote in higher numbers than most communities. And so I say that to say, yes, we need to step it up, but also we need to stop beating ourselves and each other up for being the problem. We could do better, but we ain't the problem. The apathy problem, the folks that don't vote problem, the not civically engaged problem. We are not the poster child for that. And I'm not just talking about black women, because we like to say black women have saved the Democratic Party, black women have saved America, and that is true, but it's not just black women, it's black men too. Hello. Hello, hello. So Mr. Becerra, I'm sure, is quite pleased that he is doing so well among black Californians. And it explains why, as I mentioned to you yesterday, that the city council woman who's running to be mayor of this city, who is of Brahmin East Indian background, is now trying to get into the black churches. Skip the black microphone. Her people told me she didn't have time to talk to me. Maybe she will this time. Look, I will say this, and I mean this. I'm very serious about this. When politicians get on the microphone with me, when we do interviews, debates, interviews, anything like that, before an election, I will always do my best to be fair. Okay? Not Fox News. I know how to put on my news hat and read news headlines and put on my opinion hat and say my opinion. And there's a time and a place for both. I know how to do that. I am a trained journalist. Quiet as it's kept. So, should any candidate, whether I am going to vote for them or not, step to this mic, yes, I will ask tough questions. I will ask everybody tough questions. Red, blue, left coast, right coast, black, white supremacist, so-called revolutionary. Yeah, I'm going to ask the questions about your record. I'm going to ask the tough questions, and I'm going to ask the easy questions, both. I want to give you a chance to shine and show who you are so that voters can make their own decisions using their own head. They don't have to use my head. They got their own. That's why we each get our own head. We don't have to share one, right? So she remains invited. Every candidate who is in this runoff election, Republican, Democrat, smart, dumb, tall, short, cute, not so cute, they're all invited. And I will give them a fair shake on this mic. Tough questions and easy questions. All are welcome. You can call me 800-920-1580. I am Dominique DiPrima, and this is KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Just in case you missed our Procrastination Crenshaw Town Hall.
Originally, the project was supposed to end, I was told, October of that year, and now we're looking at 5 years later, and it still hasn't been finished. I still have no parking lot. We have to park blocks away to get to work, along with my clients with sick animals. I have elderly clients, I have handicapped clients. They have to, either suffer through, park somewhere far, and make their way to the clinic with their sick animal so I can treat them. Or they can choose to go somewhere else, which is more convenient. And so I think the majority of people would probably choose the more convenient way. Luckily, I definitely have some clients that will still, make that trip. So it's definitely been impacting my business for 5 years. Like I said, my father, he has 3 sons, as they affectionately known as the Hardy Boys. We're all veterinarians. My oldest brother has a practice in Long Beach. My middle brother has a practice in Arcadia. He instilled all his greatness in us, and so we're continuing tradition. I would definitely continue the tradition of Angeles Vista Pet Medical Center. We're on the corner of Crenshaw and Vernon. But this impact appears to be going on way, way too long. Something needs to be done. It has to be concluded.
Making sure they follow through. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Don't let heartburn ruin your day. Quick, Alka-Seltzer. When that burning feeling comes on strong, stop, drop, and fizz your way to quick relief with Alka-Seltzer Heartburn Relief. Nothing works faster to help calm heartburn, so you can get back to the moments that matter most. Alka-Seltzer begins neutralizing acid in seconds. Try Alka-Seltzer for fast heartburn relief, because life doesn't stop, and neither should you.
Quick, Alka-Seltzer.
Use as directed.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. At the heart of the Al Wooten Center's mission for good citizenship and academic excellence is a desire to ensure that every student avoids the kind of lifestyle and overcomes the kinds of challenges that led to the murder of Al Wooten Jr. In 1990, founder Myrtle Fay Rumpf opened the center in honor of her son's life. In 2026, they are serving more than 300 students in grades 3 through 12 annually online and on site at their youth center and other sites in the South LA area. The Al Wooten Jr. Youth Center takes a neighborhood approach to the revitalization and empowerment of a community in crisis. The Wooten Center provides free after-school and summer programs to help students in grades 3 through 12 attain grade-level proficiency and promotion, high school graduation, and college and career access and success. The Al Wooten Center focuses on academics, STEM, the arts, and so much more. Join them for an enriching experience that sparks creativity and nurtures young minds. Tap in at WootenCenter.org. That's WootenCenter.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
Yeah, it's true that the Latino vote is moving more conservative, but also let's break it down state by state. If you're in Florida, that's Latino MAGA land, right? You got all those Cubans there that ran away from communism in Cuba. You got all of the despots and dictators from Latin America who found their retirement homes in Florida, the Manuel Noriegas of the world. You've got all these conservative Venezuelans who fled from the Chavez government. That's a hotbed of right-wing Cubans. Now, my understanding is that even the Mexican population in Texas is moving to the right. But if you look at our California Latinos, they tend to be more progressive. Now, To some extent, I'm going on, my own empirical experience. We know we have some conservative Latinos here, but you also have this huge base of U.S. born and raised, and some who are not U.S. born and raised, who are social justice oriented. I mean, look at the LA City Council, right? Some of our most progressive members are Latinos. Eunice Hernandez, Latina. Not at all conservative. I don't think she's got a conservative bone in her body. Hugo Soto Martinez. Very, very progressive. Those two are two of the ones that tend to hold the line when it comes to the ever expanding, ginormous LAPD budget. And those, and then you could say Isabel Jurado, but she's not Latina, she's Filipino. Asian Pacific Islander. Two of our more progressive residents of City Hall, right? Our controller, Kenneth Mejia, and council member Isabel Jurado are also Asian. That's why the saying, Asians are not a monolith, black people are not a monolith, Latinos are not a monolith, is important, because it's true that you can't just paint the picture of all Latinos this way. And I would say that our Latinos, meaning Cali Latinos, are less conservative than those in other states. So that is what it is. It's, yes, we did see Mexicans for Trump in Beverly Hills in 2020. Woo, low information voters. However, in the main, that's not where they land in this state. The legislative caucus the Latino legislative caucus in California has no Republicans. The Latino legislative caucuses in Arizona and Texas have tons. You see what I'm saying? So it is a different story and a different history here in the state of California. And we benefit from that. I wish that could spread. I wish that could spread to Florida. And it's possible that the egregious actions of this resident, and it's not just the resident, it's all the homies of the resident, would turn the tide. But I don't know. Because when you talk about a Marco Rubio type, he's the perfect Florida example, right? A guy whose parents come from Cuba and who has adopted his parents' politics, having spent no time as an adult in Cuba, and now is trying to destroy it, right? That's the prototype, and he doesn't just change because Trump didn't include him in when they escaped from Turkey, and Trump got in the catering truck to go to a different airplane. They left Marco Rubio on the plane they were planning to explode. Just because he clearly doesn't care about you, that's not going to change his opinion, because it's coming from a family history of trauma and misinformation. And I understand what you're saying, Selena. Black people are bailing because they're tired of being used, but we're not always being used. Many times coalitions and allyships create outcomes that actually work in our favor, right? Tom Bradley, arguably, was, I think, the longest serving mayor in LA history. I could be wrong about that, but he would not have been elected without coalitions. The clear thing, to Carl's point, is what are we asking for? If we're backing Becerra, what are we asking for? And I think that's the thing. Selena Ricks, 9526 is in the chat. That's the thing we have to do better at. Is politics is all about quid pro quo. So what's the ask, and how do we follow up on the ask and make sure that what was promised is delivered? We are talking hip-hop, women in hip-hop, and what's going on today with the poetess, a.k.a. Felicia Morris. That's next, and you're welcome in KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. New York Governor Kathy Hochul is announcing more than $200 million in summer food assistance for low-income families.
We just finished our second year of completely free meals, breakfast, and lunch.
Eligible households can receive $120 per child through the state's summer EBT program, with some families needing to apply by September 8th. A former Louisiana jailer is facing charges after authorities say she exchanged inappropriate messages with an inmate. Black 20-year-old Amaya Fobb was arrested on charges including